All right, today we're going to journey back in time to a truly magnificent chapter in Indian history, the Gupta Empire. We're talking about the 4th to the 6th century, an era of such incredible peace, prosperity, and cultural brilliance that it absolutely earned its name, a golden age. So that kind of begs the question, right? What does it actually take to create a golden age? Is it just about having brilliant leaders, or maybe a super stable economy, or is it something else entirely? Like a perfect storm of circumstances all coming together at once. Well, let's dive in and see if we can figure it out. Every great story has a beginning. And for the Gupta Empire, it didn't start with some massive, world-shaking explosion. Nope. It began with a noble founder and a really smart successor who carefully laid the groundwork for everything that was about to happen. What's so fascinating here is the strategy they used. See, this empire wasn't just built on war and conquest. It all started with Sri Gupta, but it was Chandragupta I who really kicked things into high gear. He used skillful diplomacy and smart alliances, not just brute force, to unite huge parts of northern India. His coronation, that's the moment we can point to as the real, official start of the Gupta era. Okay, so if Chandragupta I laid the foundation, it was his successor, Samudragupta, who built the skyscraper on top of it. And believe me, this guy was an absolutely fascinating character. I mean, they called him the Napoleon of India, and for very good reason. His military campaigns were legendary, his strategies were brilliant, and he massively expanded the empire's borders. But here's the key part. All that military success brought stability and unity to the subcontinent. That strength became the very bedrock for the peace and prosperity that would define the age. But this is what makes him so incredible. He wasn't just a warrior. Samudragupta was also a talented musician and a huge supporter of the arts and culture. It's this amazing duality, this blend of strength and soul, that really shows you what the Gupta leadership was all about. It planted the seeds for an unbelievable cultural blossoming. And from that really strong foundation, we finally arrive at the absolute pinnacle of the empire. This is the reign of Chandragupta II, an era of such incredible prosperity and intellectual achievement that it truly is the golden age. At this point, the stage was perfectly set. The empire was stable, the economy was booming thanks to trade, and people felt secure. And when all that happens, society has the resources and, maybe more importantly, the peace of mind to focus on bigger things like art, science, and philosophy. 9. What's so special about the number 9? Well, let me tell you, in the court of Chandragupta II, it represented the absolute peak of human intellect and creativity. These were the Navaratnas, or the 9 jewels. Now, this wasn't just a group of advisors. This was a collection of the 9 most brilliant minds of the entire era. Think of it like a dream team of intellectuals, poets like the world-renowned Kalidasa, groundbreaking scientists, you name it. Just having them in the royal court was a massive statement about how much this empire valued knowledge and learning. So, we've met the rulers who shaped the empire. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's really break down the specific achievements that make this era golden. What was actually being created during this incredible time of peace and prosperity? Okay, this right here, this is world-changing stuff. Seriously, think about it. Brilliant minds like Aryabhata developed the concept of zero and fine-tuned the decimal system. Without that one breakthrough, modern math, computers, pretty much all of our modern technology, it just wouldn't exist. It's one of the most incredible and lasting gifts the empire gave to the entire world. And the brilliance didn't just stop with math. Oh, no. In art, you had the absolutely stunning murals of the Ajanta caves, works of incredible refinement and spiritual depth. In literature, poets like Kalidasa were creating timeless masterpieces. And in education, Nalanda University became a global powerhouse of learning, attracting students and scholars from all across Asia. So how is all of this even possible? Well, you can think of it as being powered by a 3-part engine. First, you had a strong, just administration that provided peace and stability. Second, you had flourishing trade routes that went as far as Rome and Southeast Asia, bringing in tons of wealth. And the proof? You can see it in the huge number of gold coins, or dinars, from that period. This really just sums it all up perfectly, doesn't it? The military victories and the political savvy, those weren't the end goal. They were the means to an end. They created the secure foundation, the fertile soil where human creativity and intellect could just flourish without being interrupted. That, right there, is the true recipe for a golden age. But as we all know, even the brightest golden ages have to face their sunset. The Gupta Empire was no exception, and its decline wasn't a sudden collapse, but more of a slow, gradual fade. So how did it happen? Well, it pretty much unfolded in 3 stages. First, the line of strong visionary rulers ended, which created a huge leadership vacuum. Then that weakness was exploited by outside forces, especially the Hunas, whose constant attacks just drained the empire's military and its money. And finally, without that strong central leadership holding it all together, the once unified empire slowly broke apart into a bunch of smaller, separate states. But here's the most important thing to remember. While the political power of the Gupta Empire faded away, its legacy absolutely did not. The ideas, the art, the science, and especially that revolutionary concept of zero, they became a permanent part of our shared human heritage. They continue to influence the world right up to this very day. Which leaves us with one last really interesting question to think about. Looking back at the whole story of the Gupta Empire, what do you think? Are these incredible golden ages really the product of a few amazing, larger-than-life leaders? Or are they just the result of a perfect storm of circumstances all clicking into place at exactly the right time? It's definitely something to ponder. Thanks for joining us.